You gotta talk smooth on that.
Good evening. How y'all doing out there? This is the Free Game Podcast. Special edition.
Special edition. Real special.
I'm J2, by the way.
I'm D Wright. And we got two very special guests.
There you go.
You gotta give them their roses while they here.
Keep it smooth. Though.
Keep it. All right, we got Miss Mia Marshall, and we got Miss Rebecca Brown,
Formerly known as Miss Stewart.
That's
If
right.
y'all went to school with us, y'all know. You know.
That's right.
First and foremost, how y'all?
Good.
How's everything?
Doing great.
We're doing good. Thank y'all for having us. We're
Yes.
Thank
excited.
y'all for
thanks for
coming.
coming.
Thank y'all for coming.
Oh, hold up. And we got DJ Black.
We got
Wade.
DJ Black.
There we go. And we got Mama Wright. I wish Momo Wright was there.
All right. So where we starting? Introduction.
Yeah. I hopefully it's gonna have people that watch this that don't know who y'all are. So for those, introduce yourself.
Oh wow.
Who wanna go first?
I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
Y'all used to make us do that in
Again,
class.
Yeah, we did.
Sorry.
So my
I
name
apologize.
is Mia Marshall. I am a retired art teacher, formerly at Independence High School, and right now I'm just retired. I teach a little bit of private lessons. I do logos. I do little art here and there.
Come on.
I,
You on them logos?
did you not know?
The lady is busy.
I am doing
Busy lady.
a little bit of book illustration, and I am the owner of Splash Paint and Sip Parties. So, do mobile paint parties.
Come on.
So I keep a little busy. I do private classes, but other than that, just a little retired lady. So,
Cooling.
yeah,
Cooling. Big
In
cooling.
other words, cooling. You been
cooling, right?
And you, Miss Rebecca Brown. Can you introduce yourself?
Should we go by
Miss-
Brown Stewart?
Brown
Brown
Stewart.
Stewart. What are we doing?
It's gonna happen.
I also taught at Independence High. I also am a retired teacher. Work for a chemical company now. Got out of teaching and went into the corporate world, and so I'm not as busy as Mia. I'm not as interesting as Mia. She does a lot more stuff than me.
Not really.
But other than that, we're just really glad to be here.
Absolutely.
All right. So, how long was you teaching exactly? Saying you retired.
Probably since 2004. I've been at Independence, and then I stopped maybe around 2012, 2013, I think it was. Yeah.
And I started 2005 at Independence, and I stayed there through 2013, and then I moved to Laranja High and stayed there until 2016 and left.
That's 2000s, babies.
Yeah,
Huh?
2000,
2000, baby.
2000s, baby.
that's
Push
right.
them out.
They,
They pushed our teachers out.
they did.
I don't like that.
Oh, what did no? I
they
will
didn't
honestly
push us
say
out.
no. It wasn't the kid. It was never the kids that I had issues with. It was there are other factors involved. No,
Very
No, we don't know.
diplomatic.
I want to know.
Yeah, we want. That's why we here.
oh, we're dishing dirt. Is that what we're doing? We're digging.
I want to know.
So we don't have tea, but go ahead.
That's right. Exactly.
Kool-Aid.
Well, we were talking a little bit earlier before the podcast, the recording started, and I, for one, had issues with the bureaucracy of it all, the paper pushing, the edicts that would come down from the central office and the state board and things like that. As a teacher, you know what your kids need to learn. You know how they need to learn it. And there's always room for improvement. Yeah, there's new stuff that comes down the pike all the time. But when you're told to do something you know for sure won't work, and you're pushed and pushed and pushed, that's when you kind of get to the breaking point.
Right.
And it does change every administration.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah.
So let a new president come in, a new education secretary, it's going to change.
And all the way down to superintendent and principal of a specific school.
Right.
It changes. It's very much politics.
Right. And it's a practice, I think. They practice on us.
Mhm.
I mean, and if it works, they try to make it stick. But the problem is, if the politics weren't involved, if they saw something that worked and they had the data, it'd be nice to keep it going.
Right. Yeah.
I don't know if y'all were they there when we had when Common Core came down?
No, they were,
Okay.
no. The big thing for them was Freshman Academy.
Yes.
And that was something
That was rough.
big.
He was the first one
That,
that did that.
yeah, they were the guinea pigs, basically.
Yeah.
But
I thought it was a good idea.
They turned out okay.
Some
you
of them
guys
turned out rats now.
well.
Guinea pigs.
Not a lot. Not a lot. I see a lot of y'all out.
Yeah.
I see a lot of y'all out doing positive
Now, I
things.
will say that group, y'all's group,
It was kind of ratchet. It was
it's
a little bit.
to start. But one good thing about Freshman Academy, we weeded some of those that really needed to be elsewhere. They went elsewhere, and we were left with a really good group of
Right.
kids.
Yeah, we was like the last good class y'all had. I feel like.
No,
Yep. Yep.
no,
Yep.
I'm not gonna say that.
Yep.
Not at all.
Yep. Yes.
Let's see,
Yep.
what was that, 2010, 20?
They
Us?
graduated
Yeah.
11.
11. Okay.
No,
We had
Yeah.
this Marshall what year?
Freshman.
I don't remember. Junior year.
It was junior? Wow.
We probably had her once freshman year too, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little different for me because they didn't have anywhere to put anybody. So you came to my class, whether you wanted
Yep.
art or not.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
and that was a struggle.
That's
because
one
I
of
know
the
a lot
things
people
about
didn't
those
like that.
small schools is that when you have so few elective classes, do you want Spanish or art? Well, I don't like either one. All right, well, you're going to art,
Right.
or Spanish. So
Right.
that's the bad
Or
thing
ag.
about
That's
it. Or
exactly
ag,
what happened.
Right.
right? That's see that when you have a really
So
small
I was the
campus.
lesser of all evils. That's what I was.
They said, "Oh, Miss Marshall seems all right. We'll take her class."
I'm glad I did.
You ain't lying.
Glad I did.
There you go. And y'all were forced to take me. Y'all didn't have.
Yeah.
Y'all didn't have a
No,
choice.
Twice. I say twice.
Exactly. Didn't I have y'all 3 times?
Wow.
Some people did. I think.
Freshman.
I had you freshman year and senior year.
Yeah. me
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
Oh yeah.
That's a big difference.
yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But I don't think y'all understand how we see y'all grow through all that.
And how proud we are of almost everyone. I mean, look I look
Pretty
at
much,
y'all.
yeah.
I
Look
know
at
who y'all
y'all.
not proud of.
Yeah, I know too. You ain't gotta say it.
No, we're not saying that. No, we're not saying
As long as y'all
anything like
proud of,
that.
You know us. I'm all right. I know
It's-
you're not proud of those.
Well, this is amazing. I mean,
It is.
to see kids that we just know as students grow up, be successful, go after something that you really want to do is huge. I mean,
It is.
that's what every teacher wants.
Right.
You know.
And I remember everyone wanted to be a rapper. Everybody.
Or a basketball player.
Or basketball
They're going to the NBA, they're going to the NFL, or they're going to be a rapper.
Right. Or maybe.
I went to all of them.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh,
I went.
Mr. NBA over here. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
He was.
did.
He did.
Yeah,
So
he did
yeah,
that.
so it's nice to see you guys using your communication skills. That was kind of nice to see that.
Hey, you know what I thought about when we playing this one? I was like, I remember how nervous we was for like the what it was called, the senior project,
Oh yeah.
and we had to
wow.
like get in front of people and talk.
Were y'all the first ones?
No. 2010, but they were the first, and they were. It's my fault because it was new to me too, and so 2010, those graduates really I didn't know how this was going to go. They, no one had ever done
Y'all
this
had the
before,
first real.
and so they had the benefit of what happened to 2010.
Right.
And no, it wasn't that bad.
No.
It's just that I learned so much, and I really pushed them on it. And I think some of them actually saw some benefit to it. Some are actually doing the careers that they looked into
So do
in
you all
high
remember
school.
what careers you chose?
Mine was graphic design.
Oh, really?
You was my mentor. Look, she don't even remember.
I sure don't.
You was my mentor for my
What
project.
did we do? What was the
I
project?
did
A portfolio, didn't you?
yeah, I did a portfolio with like I had a logo that I made with like and I put it on some jeans and
Oh,
all of that.
okay.
Yeah.
That's-
Yeah, it was a pretty good one.
That's pretty current.
Huh?
I'm glad them jeans ain't never come out.
That was a one-off.
Man,
They
I-
never got produced.
I
They never
aced
got-
my senior project though.
But
Yeah.
let me just say
I
this to you.
aced it. Like I
Let me
should have got
just-
more points.
Let me just say this to you. Everything in art and in life, when you putting out that art, everything is it's a process. You know, you get it out there and you learn. You know, I used to always tell my students, don't throw away your mistakes. Because when you look back at them, you go, oh man, that was horrible. But yeah, you learn from it.
Right.
And that led me down this path, or
Right,
that
right.
showed me how to do this.
Exactly.
And that was one of the things I tried to teach them, and not just with senior project, with everything. Yeah, you might hate getting up in front of people and talking. You may, not want to have to write stuff out, but in your life, you will have to get up in front of strangers and talk
Yes.
to them.
You
in
will
your
have to
life,
write.
you will have to write stuff down, technical stuff, or whatever the case may be, that you don't want to do, but you need to be prepared for
Right.
it.
To this day, I still use most of the
Yeah.
stuff that I learned from your class. Like
In her class.
yeah, like both.
Yeah, 'cause, like
on the art
everything
side
we do
and
is a
the
part
English
of art. Like is art.
But the
And-
math, all them different maths and stuff, that wasn't needed. That wasn't necessary.
Yeah, all of it's not. I'm gonna be
That
honest.
wasn't necessary
Yeah.
at all.
Oh,
Well, I don't
I'm
know
the same
though.
way.
When we talk about COVID and exponential growth,
Yeah, that's true.
that's
At least
math.
that concept.
Yeah.
Y'all
Yeah.
were exposed to that concept.
Huh?
Y'all believe those numbers they be putting out there?
Well, you know
No.
what? Let
Big
me just
sigh.
say this: when it first started, I would say no. I mean, now I have two things I need to say about that. When it
Okay.
first started, I thought back to my son having the flu, a
Right.
horrible case of the flu in end of January, 1st of February,
Right.
and we had masks on in my house because I didn't want to catch it.
Right.
So that's one thing, and I think he actually had COVID because it was his test came back negative for flu,
Yeah.
for strep, for everything,
Yeah.
but he was obviously something was going on.
Right.
So that's one thing. The second thing is I actually know of someone who actually passed away. I mean, like that short period of time. And had I not seen that, I probably would have been a little bit more skeptical.
Right.
But yeah, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, and then
I'm-
this person had some other issues.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. That's the main.
I
Yeah,
feel like
underlying
it's real. I don't believe the numbers though that they throw out there. I don't think it's as bad like as they put it. That's that's just my view on it.
Yeah.
Well, no.
So what numbers are
I
you looking
second
at?
that.
Are y'all looking at?
The hundreds of thousands that they put out, like
Of hospitalizations
Yeah.
or tested positive
Right.
or all of that. You know,
the number that I do believe is the deaths. I mean, because
Yeah.
y'all actually count that.
You-
you
yes.
know, but
it
the number
numbers.
of cases and all that.
Yeah.
I
You
think
know, you were
they
talking about
inflated.
math and stuff. Numbers can be,
Manipulated.
They can be manipulated, absolutely. And again, it goes back to politics in that every side is going to latch on to a number that works for their case, or that works for their side, whether it's the ones that are, pushing for us to move back to phase one and, stay at home order, or those of us pushing to just get rid of it completely. They'll latch on to whatever number works for them, and then, it's kind of hard to balance those two ideas, or more than two
And
ideas.
I was listening to Dr. Fauci today, and one of the things that he talked about was the fact that every school district needs to judge according to their own community. Like, for
Exactly.
instance, we don't need to judge next to New Orleans.
Right.
Or next to Alabama or, New Mexico.
Or-
Because
right.
we are all so different.
Right.
All so different. And even within a city, there's still going to be pockets that are worse than others.
And that's where I think guidelines too, that's the word guideline is simply, it's not a hard fact.
Right.
It is kind of a rule of thumb, but it needs to be, judged on a case by case
And
basis.
we are not that kind of country, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
Yep. All or nothing.
Nope. Great points. All right. So, how do y'all feel like with like? All right, it's July. School's supposed to start next month.
It is.
Early next
Yeah.
month.
So
and
like
it
in
is
a couple
starting,
weeks.
yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
how does that like, in y'all opinion, how is it gonna affect like?
Oof, that's a
That's a
big
big one.
topic. Well, there's a couple sides to it. You've got the fact that none of us, no one who is alive right now, has ever dealt with anything like a pandemic before.
Nothing.
Not
Right.
really.
Exactly.
It's not like anyone alive remembers dealing with the Spanish influenza. No one has dealt with this before, so everyone is kind of just taking things as they come and reacting. The plans that they have in place, I feel, are very reactive still. Like they get information in and they have to put something together for the public, for the parents, for the
Right.
guardians, for whatever. But we don't have the luxury of saying, hold up, let's really think about this, put something more comprehensive together, and then, because everybody's clamoring for information. So that I think is one of the issues, is that it by necessity so reactive.
I think the other thing too is you're looking at it's not just going back to school, because
Right.
you have working parents,
Right. Transportation.
you have transportation, right? You have what if the kid gets sick and the parent needs to, or what if a teacher got sick and the whole class got quarantined?
Right.
Exactly.
Staffing.
What are we doing? What are we doing here?
Supplies. It's
I ain't
a
think
huge,
about that one.
Yeah.
It's a huge
I never thought
issue.
about that part.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we're gonna go back, and
It's still out there.
I'm gonna
Right.
say, I guarantee you, the kids who are there are not gonna be there the whole time. Something's gonna happen.
Right.
Right.
Well,
So-
the plan that they
And
have.
I hate to say that, I
Right.
don't wish that,
No,
but I
no.
feel like that's gonna happen.
Well, it's
Right.
it's kind of reality now.
Right.
It's because look at Louisiana. We had gotten to the point
We were doing
where
great.
we were doing great, and then all of a sudden, again with the numbers, things are based on these numbers. We kind of slide back to 2, and maybe possibly John Bell Edwards is talking about moving back to phase 1. So
hope not.
yeah, it's just like, I wish we could just snap back and
Exactly.
pretend like it's not there.
Right.
But I don't know going forward if we'll ever be able to do that. Because what happens the next time there is another virus?
And there
Right.
will be.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's one thing you can count on, is that these viruses mutate and
Yes.
and these things come up.
Should have
and-
paid attention in science. But yes.
Man.
See,
man,
science. Yep.
Man.
Should have paid attention in science. Just didn't do
What
it.
that?
Chemistry.
No, that's more of biology. What you think?
Yeah.
That would be more biology.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Miss,
I just wanted to throw a
who
shot
was our
at,
biology?
I want to
Miss,
throw a shot at Coach Psycho.
who was our biology teacher?
I don't remember.
Was it Bickham?
Yeah, it was
Yes.
Miss
The
Bickham.
blonde lady?
Yes.
Yeah. Coach Masaika,
I just want to
Chemistry.
throw a shot.
he
That's why I said
offered
chemistry.
he offered to come tonight. And I said, no, you're not retired yet. You can't.
Yeah, that's not a good idea.
No, you can't
Yeah.
say what you want yet.
Yeah, right. That's why I was like,
No, that's not good.
Yeah. Nope, you can't say it
I
yet.
remember being in his class. The coach
Oh,
would've
man.
came here and started talking.
You think you would have dominated the conversation?
I was gonna go to sleep.
Yeah, we're gonna get real comfortable in here. Real comfortable.
Coach Masaki put me to sleep every day.
Yeah, I'll be
in
like,
class.
no, pour me a little bit more Kool-Aid.
He's so smart.
Yeah.
He is incredibly
Yeah.
smart. And he
Shout out, Coach.
that's right. He has difficulty with not understanding that everyone isn't as enamored of science and physics and chemistry as he is.
I used to have that
So-
problem. I get it.
Get into it and like, why don't you like Shakespeare for me?
No, not for me.
Why don't you love Shakespeare?
Like,
why?
y'all not like Phantom of the Opera? What's the problem?
Right. Exactly.
Don't worry about it.
Phantom of the Opera was the best.
Yeah.
It really is.
I agree.
I agree.
So what do you guys think from a parent standpoint?
A young with parent of young children. Miss Marshall and I have
'cause
older
we're talking-
children.
I'm like,
Yeah, they're-
Me
School is done.
personally, my kids, well, I only have one that's in school. He's probably not gonna go back until like January
Okay.
or something like that.
How about the baby?
He goes to daycare. My mama has daycare.
Oh, okay. So you're good.
Yeah, he's good.
you're
He's good there.
If he had not been, what? How about for you?
I don't know at this point because it's like, how do you balance going to work?
Yeah.
Mom's got to go to work too,
Mm-hmm.
and you got kids at home.
Yeah.
Like, but if I can hold them back until I will. That's the plan.
I've heard a lot of people doing like virtual school groups, kind of like homeschool, like one parent taking, different parents taking turns.
a few
So
kids.
it's a lot of things out there,
Yeah.
you know, but
Yeah, you can't trust everybody.
right.
Right.
So
Yeah,
I
it's
don't-
gonna be very, very difficult.
yeah.
I'll say that.
Well, you know, one of the things we do have to be, excuse me, positive about just hopefully moving forward. You know, like instead of hearing or your kids hearing you complain about it or whatever, you know, if you try to stay
'Cause they internalize all that.
right, and their attitudes are going to be reflective of yours. Totally.
Yeah.
But I think the big thing, whether you decide to send them to school, whether you decide to keep them home, whether you decide to homeschool, whatever you do, hybrid, whatever, I think people need to be a little bit more gracious of everyone else's decision.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Because I've heard some, if you're on Tangy School Parents or
Oh, my
Concerned
gosh.
Parents, you hear some really
Ugly,
it's
negative
either
stuff.
all or nothing, or it's just really negative stuff. And everybody doesn't have the same situation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about, you can't quarantine. Some homes can't quarantine.
No.
I would
Right.
be able to do it right now because I don't have everybody at my house. But some places, some people can't
Right.
keep safe distance with other family
Exactly.
members.
Right. Like I know somebody personally that him and his wife have it or had it, and I think they over it now. But
Okay.
like they got kids and they all stay in the same house. So how does that work?
Right.
And then how about this? How about a kid comes home? Yeah, little kids, younger kids are not as susceptible to the virus, but they are carriers.
Carry it, yeah. Right.
And how many of you know people who were raised by grandparents or have
yeah.
grandparents in the home?
Yeah,
Most of the
absolutely.
people I know.
Right.
And we haven't even started talking about comorbidities, things like diabetes,
Right. All these underlying health
heart
issues.
disease, and I think they found out that it's a vascular disease, so it's gonna
Yep.
affect your heart. It's gonna affect. I mean, it's unbelievable, but I think we're gonna get through it. I just think that people have to use common sense
No,
and
absolutely.
do what works
yeah.
for them.
Yeah. Yeah, and there are several options. You've got if a parent has the luxury of either working from home or just being able to stay home, the full virtual model is there. And so that's something that I know a lot of kids that I taught wish that they could have done. They could have done the virtual stuff. I don't know that all kids who want to do it are capable of doing it. Like
Right.
as when you guys were in high school or even junior high, would y'all have had the ability to focus and do so you
Stay
needed
on task.
when
right.
when they threw what that was our senior year and they threw the math on the computer,
Advanced math.
advanced math,
Yeah.
terrible
Yeah.
because we wasn't used to that.
Right.
I need somebody up there telling me.
Yeah.
Like
Right, you need that in-class
exactly.
setting. Yeah.
But nowadays it may be easier for them because that's how they were brought up.
Right.
They,
Right.
So,
Yeah. Yeah, so, I mean, there are some kids, I think, who will do really, really well with that. The idea of, like, junior high kids, the teachers moving classrooms instead of the groups of kids moving, that's not a bad idea. So
yeah.
there are some things that I think could work and could work well. It's all about, though, how it's approached, how it's handled, and I think our school district in particular, because I can't speak for any other school district, but
Right.
they're doing the best they can,
With what- with the
with what
information
they
they
have,
have,
right, what they have to work with.
Now, I think, I've heard some people say, why is high school all virtual? Let me tell you something. High school is a whole new ball of wax.
Absolutely.
Because you're not moving as groups.
Right.
You're not moving as this homeroom all stays together. So the contact that you're gonna
Right.
have with other kids is just gonna be maximum.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. There would be no point in wearing a mask
No.
or hand sanitizing or taking temperatures, because if you think about it, as students, when you guys went from class to class, how many people did you interact with? Not just in class,
Touching
in the
doors,
halls,
hallway,
touching
touching
desks.
in the
door,
hall,
bumping
the
into
office,
people on
the
accident.
gym. Right. Exactly. So
Yeah.
it's
Y'all
just
remember
impossible.
when we had the what was it, staph infection? Remember that?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Remember how hard it was, and teachers were having to wipe down everything. So
I don't
just
remember any
imagine
of
that times 10.
I didn't wipe anything down. If you
Oh,
got
wow.
staff in my room, sorry about that. I don't remember. wiping anything down. Yeah. Keep y'all staph infections to
Right.
yourself. I'm not worried about y'all.
I know, it was like if somebody walked in with this open sore, you looking like, you need to go by
Yuck.
the office.
Gross.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember when it was said, but like I don't actually remember like none of the like y'all probably did, but like
I
I
remember
feel like
sending somebody to
students
the
I
office.
They
didn't
could care less,
like
yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it. I'm gonna be honest.
Well, kids
It
think
wasn't
they're
a big
invincible.
deal.
Yeah.
You know.
Right. And I think that would be the case had all the high schoolers come back.
And we
They
just
would-
thought like certain nasty students could get it. We just didn't think that.
No.
Right. Right. Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
Like you had to be.
Right. That would have been a
Certain type
nice
of person.
science lesson, right?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's it's going to be interesting. It really will. It's and like I said too, nobody knows how it's going to go until it happens,
Right.
and then you just got to deal with what you have.
I will say this. I think this is going to be a lost couple of years as far as the education is concerned.
Yeah.
It's going to be. It can be good, but it's going to depend on parents being a lot more vigilant.
And that's hard, I'm gonna be honest.
Oh yeah.
That's very
How
hard
was it
because
when they first came home?
Yeah, in March. It was difficult.
man.
Still at home.
Right. So like ain't
They haven't left.
Right now, I'm trying to prolong this.
right.
So I ain't gotta go
So you
back.
have to go home. Oh no.
Right, right.
Yeah, it's I just look at it like I don't know. It's gonna be hard because parents don't really think I gotta be a teacher or I gotta do this part
Right,
of
all
it.
this
You know what I mean?
brand
Like
I remember when I used to have parents say, "Well, what are they doing in your class?" And I'm like, well, "They're doing so much." And I'd go into it and they're like, "Well, all I see is a little drawing on the wall." And I'm like, "No,
Right.
we're teaching so much more
It's
than
a totally different mindset.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
And for parents to move from that
Exactly.
parental, don't touch that. Go do this. That's what I said. Take it or leave it. And
Yeah.
then.
And I
then-
want it done by 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
Or you're punished, and then you have to go into the teacher mindset of saying, "Well, okay, so you didn't get this. Let me try to explain this a different way," and
It
that doesn't
also-
work.
it's also like even for the child itself, like
Oh yeah, the kids.
but they not even looking at you like a teacher.
No.
They looking at you like dad,
No,
mom.
absolutely.
So
Like,
like
you
they-
don't know.
Yeah, right.
yeah,
So,
why are you telling me this? You're not my teacher.
exactly.
And the funny thing about that is there's a I say newer math because I remember when we were
Oh,
growing
right.
up, it was new math. But that Eureka,
Oh,
Yes.
I hate that. I hate it.
that is
I don't have any.
Something
I've
out of the-
seen it, but I'm very
I
very
have not
glad.
had to deal with it personally.
Right,
Oh,
that I
man.
haven't had to. Is it bad?
But
Is it a
it's
totally
really
different
bad.
way of thinking?
Aggravating. Yeah,
It's a different way of
It's just so
thinking.
much in one.
I don't even know what that
The
is.
steps, it's the steps. The
Right.
outcome
You
is going to be
gotta
the
draw.
same.
You gotta.
You're
do
drawing
all that.
boxes and charts and
Yeah.
Breaking things down
That's
in a
new?
different way.
no.
And-
When you see it, you'll see what
But
we mean.
but that's something new.
Yeah, like
Oh,
Ty
yeah.
had it.
Oh no.
You'll see.
I used to hate helping him with his homework.
Yeah.
So
That's
no.
one of those times when you put that belt on the table. 2 plus 2 is what?
See, it's not that simple. Though.
Right.
No, it's not.
That's
It's
not
not.
that simple. Like it be having me like, okay, I don't even know this. So how am I supposed to tell
You
him?
got to go back and you know what? They actually
Like,
do
I really have to think.
lessons. They actually do classes for the parents. That's how
Yes.
you know it's real.
That's right. Exactly.
What's the point of it though? Like, is it
It's-
actually beneficial?
It's supposed to teach them a different way of thinking.
Yes.
And did they base it on a different country?
I think,
model, India or
it-
somebody. Somebody that's
Japan,
really good
China,
at math.
maybe, but yeah, it's a different way of, say, when you guys were little and you were taught to multiply or divide especially. You put the number, you draw the thing,
Yeah.
you divide it into this
The
number,
box.
and then the remainder,
The
and then
remainder,
Right.
then you keep going
totally
down.
different.
Yes.
Totally different mindset of you break the first number down into this, and then you break this down into this, and then you do. It's a lot more steps, but supposedly, and like I said, I'm not that experienced. Supposedly, it teaches you more problem solving skills. It teaches you different concepts that you guys didn't get.
Exactly.
But
Nope.
I don't know.
So,
And I
and
hope I
I've
never
heard that it's like when it comes to ACT, your
Yeah. reasoning
is going quicker than you saying, okay, I'm gonna carry this and do this, you know.
Now, there you go. There's
That's
another
what I've
thing.
heard.
You hear this, but has there been any real data to back it up, or is that one of those things that comes down the pipe?
How long has this math been out?
Oh,
I
Not
mean, you don't
long.
take the ACT until like high school, right?
it still affects you.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, remember that's a foundational thing: addition, subtraction, multiplication.
But they,
division.
they started in elementary school, and they're
Carry it out,
continuing
yeah.
as they get older, and so by the time they do take ACT, supposedly it's going to help. But again, there's no data, and if they keep it around long enough to actually get data from it, it might prove to be
Right.
worthwhile.
Right.
But that's the key.
But it's
that's
a,
it.
it's a
They don't like to do that.
guinea pigs again.
Yep, absolutely, absolutely. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And if we lose a few pigs,
Oh, well.
little guinea pigs in the mix, oh well, yeah. That's education in a nutshell, right there.
That's it.
Right.
Well, that's kind of bitter, wasn't it? Maybe that's a little too bitter.
All right, before we step away from that topic, high school students playing sports.
Okay.
If they cut sports out, like football, like that's gonna be tragic, in my opinion. I feel like that alters people's future. A lot of people,
It does.
because that might have been, what they was gonna do.
Right. Their ticket or
Yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
I don't think it in that aspect, because honestly, how many kids
Out
did
of our
y'all
class.
know
Yeah.
that actually signed with a D1 college and went on to play professional football? How many?
I know a couple.
Exactly. Out of how many
I know
kids?
personally.
Right.
Right.
So
So
but
what was
what
our-
it will affect is those kids who, and it's not just football, it's all sports, who go to school and that is their shining light.
Right.
That's why they go to school.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
there were
I get
plenty
that.
of kids that would come to school just for football,
I
basketball.
think we have bigger problems
softball.
though, even when the sports were there.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if y'all remember this, but they dropped the GPA.
Yeah.
The GPA was 1.6.
That's what it was.
That's all you had to get.
That's terrible.
Wait, and you say they dropped it lower than
I
that?
thought it was
no,
like.
it dropped to 1.6.
Oh, it dropped
It-
to one. It was a 2.0 or something. huh?
It was 2.5 and then 2.0.
2.5, then 2.0, then 1.6.
But
I
you
ain't
know,
gonna say
it's
nothing
just,
about that.
That's a D.
well,
Was that like a D? Average?
It's it's
So-
pretty bad.
That's sad what it is.
So yeah.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but
And then that's that same argument. Well, we want to keep the same kids there, because
Graduation
they're-
rate, graduation index, trying to keep kids from kindergarten through 12th grade, getting them out and actually with a diploma. And so, yeah, they're trying to keep them there as long as they can. So, I mean, I think it will affect some kids
Right.
just in even the enjoyability aspect of it. I mean,
Right.
like PE and sports, a lot of kids like that stuff. And
I
if it's
remember
not
when
there,
they dropped the band at Independence High School. That was a problem.
yeah.
So I get it. I mean, I'm one of the parents that says, if you can't do the sports, then let's put all your energy into the academics.
Right.
I know when my son was at Hammond here recently, he was in an IB program, and it took a lot of his time because he had to have certain classes. So he had to add on physics. He does math and science, not me. But anyway, he had to take on physics and another class, robotics class, engineering class is what it was, and in order to get his IB certification.
Right.
Well, playing basketball, I don't know if they still do it at Independence, but practice happened during the day.
I don't know if they do it now.
Like athletic PE.
Yeah, it was like an
7
athletic
hour
PE.
or at the end
Right.
of the
Yeah.
day.
So
right.
he had physics at that time. He couldn't do.
So
both.
he couldn't play ball.
Right. So it came to a head, and he had to make a decision, and he decided to go with academics. So, in some cases,
Smart man.
it's and it worked out for him,
Right.
but I could understand where somebody
Right. Because they're not all like
Yeah.
that. There's and I'll put his name out there because it won't matter now. I don't know if you guys remember Derek Dupard.
Yeah.
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 He was a phenomenal
Excellent.
football player.
Football
Excellent.
He
Rest in peace,
that
don't.
that child could have. He had the capability of becoming an NFL
absolutely
Star.
Easily.
However, he had issues, and I'm not talking about behavioral issues either. He had, I think, in my opinion, an undiagnosed learning disability, and I think if he had gotten the help he needed earlier on, he would have had more success in high school and had maybe
couple offers.
well, yeah, and less desire to do some of the stuff that he ended up doing.
Right.
Because that in my mind is a tragedy. He
Yeah.
was not
Very
taken care of in any way when he should have been by whoever the case. It could have been family, it could have been school, it could have been the
Coaches,
community, whatever.
Right.
But that child is, in my mind, one of those lost kids that you think about for years. He really could have done something for himself, and he just kind of got lost in the shuffle. So that's what
So
bothers
do we
me.
know? I think the
LHSAA.
What did they decide for fall?
It's from what I understand,
Phase one.
it's modified in that they're looking at possibly a shortened schedule,
Okay.
only playing district games, maybe starting in October, something like that.
Football.
But football and
Volleyball.
and then
What's
and
up?
volleyball as well, yeah. And so that'll push back, obviously, basketball.
Basketball.
That'll push back everything, the spring sports as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it all depends, too, what phase we're in.
Right.
So,
Yeah,
but I do know they are practicing.
Okay.
They're socially distancing. They're doing workouts and
Yeah.
they're wearing
That's
masks and stuff like that.
You social distance playing that type of sport. It's
right.
a contact sport.
Well, they're not,
Football.
but they're not doing real
They're not
contact
doing
stuff. They're
tackle,
doing
I guess,
workouts. They're
so.
doing drills.
this
They're
is
doing
crazy.
stuff like that. Yeah. So. I
And
do
then
know-
if you're NCAA,
You
you
sound like an old
qualifying
man.
for that was another thing. You're not supposed to take online virtual classes.
Yes, exactly.
So when
not
you
the
do that-
majority. You could take a couple, but not
Right.
the majority has to be.
So
in,
your
in-
core couldn't be
Right.
online or what was that program called? I forget what it was called, but you couldn't take those classes.
Right.
Those
Southeastern, I know, is still that. Was it Southland Conference?
Okay.
Southland, yeah.
Yeah, they're still on track for starting in whenever.
Oh wow.
Now Southern and I can't
Yeah, they
I can't remember that
canceled.
conference. They're not at all.
Yeah.
So whatever games that they had scheduled with other districts and other conferences, that's all done. So it's all
It's a
again
new
up in the
world.
air.
It's definitely a different world.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. What's next, you guys?
Um,
What's next?
y'all
Check.
answer the next
Check.
question.
Check.
Do y'all feel like would it ever go back to normal?
No,
I think this is the new normal.
I don't. I think it'll get better.
Yeah.
But I think it'll be different.
Right.
I mean, our kids, your kids, will not be the same. My
That's
child will
crazy
not
to
be the
think
same.
about.
The education that we felt like we had was so changed when you guys came along. And for you guys, your kids are gonna be, online virtual learning is like, what's the problem?
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
I
How
mean,
much?
in a way, they doing that now. Like,
Right.
My son, he's on ABC Mouse like
Right.
every day. So,
He's what,
but
6?
yeah, it's
Yeah.
different like than actually going to school. Like, being around your friends.
Yeah,
being
like it's a
around
different.
teachers, like,
Yeah, it's just the experience
of
of,
school,
yeah.
bro.
The,
Like,
the social aspect
Yeah.
and the learning how to
That's
deal
hard.
with other aspects.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Oh yeah.
That
because
social is going to be really lacking.
it
Yeah, I was
is.
gonna say it's gonna create a lot of social awkwardness.
And anxiety
yeah.
and issues. So just and these kids who are used to acting one way at home, because we all see it. They act one way at home and then act another way at school. Whether it might be good, bad, or flip flop, but these kids who are going to be home for a year.
Y'all going to see a different side of them.
Yeah, exactly. They
Yeah.
get to school and they're not going to know what to do.
Right.
They, especially the little ones, because they've already forgotten what it was like
Right.
a year or so ago.
exactly.
You know, we always talk about the summer slide.
Oh yeah.
You know, what y'all lose during the summer
Yep.
as students. It's going to be immense this time because they've been out since March.
Well, I did hear that they're going to do placement testing and diagnostic testing for at least the younger ones.
Okay.
K through or
But it won't be grade specific.
I don't think so. I think they're doing it for the ones who are going back to school, not the high school kids, but they're trying to see what
yeah, I
they
know
have.
a couple of hearts were starting to drop.
Oh
Like, what?
yeah. What they're starting to, what they've missed out on, and what they need to brush up on to kind of get up to speed.
This might be a good year to not do LEAP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, and then the ACT, the mandatory ACT testing. I don't think. Well, they didn't get to take it this past March.
Right.
No.
So I
Yeah,
don't know
a
if those
lot
kids
of
are going to do
colleges
it.
We're moving
I don't
to
know.
not requiring the ACT scores. So
I
we shall
wish.
see.
I wish that'd happen when I was in school.
Well, yeah, but you know how that is. They might not require an ACT score, but
They're
your
looking at
GPA
everything else.
and everything else has to be
Everything
much
else.
higher. So
You got to be in clubs. You got to be. I just
yeah, I ain't do
finished
none
all
of that. GPA was all right, but
Club, all right.
yeah, but not the school clubs.
no, that wasn't me. I can do some normal work, but I ain't like doing all that.
It's too much.
Who was it? It was Miss Holden that had SAD, wasn't it? Miss
Y'all,
Holden that had
y'all
SAD.
didn't join SAD?
No,
I know
Some-
y'all weren't in my art
Why
club.
would I join?
I didn't do anything, and I wish I would have now.
Sad.
So why do you wish you would?
Just
Looking back,
not necessarily for like back then, just for like now. Like
no, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah,
what do
like
you think you would have gotten out of it?
I don't know exactly.
Just the experience?
Yeah, it's
or-
like just to experience other things and just have more under my belt to be like,
Yeah.
oh, I know about this, I know about that. Like, because you only get so much being in school.
right. Right.
In those clubs, I feel like they get so much more.
That's true.
So-
I can see that. And like dealing with people that you maybe wouldn't normally deal with on a
Yeah.
daily basis.
Like
And-
Upward Bound and stuff like that. I should have done that.
That would have been a great
Oh yeah.
program.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because like
I wish I
me
would've
just
did
going
that.
straight into college after high school, it was like,
Yeah.
where am I at?
Yeah. Right. Yeah, exactly. Because that's another thing. Our curriculum is not supposed to. It's supposed to prepare you for secondary learning or for post high school learning, but
Right.
not. Oh my God! You mean I have to set up all my books? I have to learn how to study by myself. I have
Time
to do
management.
time management. I have to figure out how not to skip classes
Yep.
all the time. Like
Yep.
And you
we
and-
can't teach that.
Right.
you
And I
know?
think there's another thing too. We test in order to just for the kids to just regurgitate what we
Right.
told them.
Right.
We don't say it's not more of the critical thinking. I mean, your
Right.
class is different, but I'm just saying.
Right.
You know, and that's kind of back to that Eureka Math. They want you to know why, not just the answer. They
And to
want
be
you
able
know
to
why.
apply it in
Right.
different areas.
Right.
Yeah.
So critical thinking is going to be major.
Yeah. Yeah, that college leap was
Yeah.
way different.
Yeah.
Tell you that.
What they expect of you, right?
Yeah, it was just like, all right, here.
Right.
Yeah.
Not,
Figure it
not,
out.
Hey,
It
Devon,
was-
did you do your homework?
Yeah, it was just like, figure it
Do I
out.
need to call your mom? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
You
No,
ain't even
no.
gotta show
No.
up to class. You
Right.
want to, like,
Right. No,
Like,
you don't
honest-
have to.
It really wasn't even the work for me. It was the freedom.
It was
Yeah,
the
it was way-
discipline.
yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like you
The
just here.
self discipline that you don't have as a kid
Right.
coming into college. I had trouble with it too. So you're not the only ones at all.
I
A
think
lot of people
everybody
do.
goes through that. Yeah.
Now there are a couple that, the ones I hated. They graduated high school, went straight to college, and graduated in like 3 years, and they're off to their
That's
career.
the
And I'm like,
most
oh
right.
God, I hate you. What? Like, it
Right.
took me a long
Look,
time.
nerds.
Nerds. That's right. Exactly. Oh, they think they have it all together. Well,
Right.
they kind of did, but
Right.
A lot of
And
people.
you're on the other side of the desk
Yeah.
going, do you remember me from high school? This is my resume. Right.
Exactly. Yeah, we
Yeah.
hired
You're
me.
your boss now, right?
Yeah, it's a lot of people that that went to Upward Bound though. Like they actually graduated college that I know,
Yeah.
and that's why I say
Oh, they
like
have
that.
great. Now I'm gonna tell you something. They have data, and they have great numbers, and
Yeah.
they have a great amount of success. Not everybody,
Yeah,
But a much higher,
much
rate
higher
of
level.
success.
and they do well on testing.
But I think the key of that is they accept such a small group of students per school. They
Yep.
can't do 100 kids
From
because
Independence,
or
right.
yeah, from every school. It's just they can't do that, and so even if they did, I don't think the numbers would support
It
it.
would be different, right.
So I think if you were driven enough in high school, if you were lucky enough, if you had maybe a parent, a guardian,
has to be
a
parent
sister,
support,
brother,
right.
yeah, pushing you to do it. Like if you had an older sister, older brother who had done it, and everybody was on board and said you should do it. But if you don't have somebody right there telling you this is a good idea, you really should do it. You're a kid. You're not gonna want to do
right.
that.
Right.
The only
That's,
thing-
that's
I feel
work.
like-
I don't want to
yeah,
do that.
it's like the
Yeah.
only thing most people push is sports.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people do it.
Yeah. Well, that and it's fun. Sport,
Yeah.
That's fun.
Well,
Yeah.
let's think about this for a minute, though. I've always said this: if you're going to play football, you need to be smart. Because how many you have to play for? What, at least 2 or 3 years?
Oh, you gotta ask him. He's more
Oh,
into
is that
sports than
football
me.
where you have to play at least 2 or 3
She
years?
was like, I don't know. I didn't play sports.
Okay. I know basketball you can be one and done. You know what I'm saying? So you could
Yeah, more
as
about
long as you
sports
can.
than me. I just went to school.
Oh.
Now what happened?
No, I was saying the thing that I always think about is
You
you
did.
have to have
That's
at
all I
least
did.
been.
I was chill.
You have to be fairly smart to play football, and I'll tell you why. Because you can't play football professionally. Let's say that's your goal, unless you've been in college for what 3 years, or out of high school for 3 years. Is that it?
Sure.
I
I
don't
think
know.
basketball players.
I know
are-
basketball
think-
is one and done. I know that.
I think you can go to college for 1 year in college. I mean, to play football.
Really?
I think so.
Oh, okay.
I
didn't
know the
think that was
NBA
case.
you used
Can-
college. I mean, football
Is that
at a
relatively
point in
recent?
time, you
Is
could.
that a relatively recent
I don't think you ever
change
could
that-
go to
or
like
it's-
the NFL straight out of high school, but you used to for basketball.
Yeah.
Now
right,
you,
the
you
NBA.
still can go pro from
Right.
basketball, like from high school, but you can't go to the NBA.
Right, you got to go overseas.
Yeah, you gotta go overseas, and I don't understand that logic.
Right, that
I mean,
makes no sense.
that makes
but I
no
mean,
sense.
I
I don't know if you know this, but if you're golf or tennis, you can be 14.
Yeah, you can be like
Oh yeah.
or soccer.
and be a pro player.
Yeah. So yeah, but no, the thing that I was saying is that if you think about sports, we push sports, but really what our coaches should be doing, the little league, the bitty ball, what they should be doing is they should be saying to these kids, "Oh, you're very talented. I can see 5th grade. Oh, you're gonna be a beast. You need to be a beast in the classroom." You know. So that's just my take. But
Yeah, but a lot of that, they just help them out. Not even help them in a good way. They just help them.
right.
That winning mindset. Yeah. You look. You're great on the field. Let's keep doing this. Oh, don't worry about homework.
Yeah, don't worry about that.
Don't
I'ma
worry
handle
about
it. I'ma
We got
get
we
that
got
taken care of.
practice tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, what I think. We got a side question from the audience.
The audience. The audience members.
The audience members say, how do you feel about the kids that's been struggling throughout the school year, then all of a sudden they get a pass due to the virus?
Get a.
Oh, a social promotion, like they pass because.
Yeah.
Yeah, because of the virus.
Well.
They. Go ahead.
Speak on.
I'm gonna
Good
tell it
question.
all.
Got a live
It's not
studio.
officially
Yeah.
sanctioned, but there have been times when I was encouraged to pass a student because of various reasons throughout my career. Especially when it came to graduation index, graduation rate,
Graduation's horrible.
things like that. So, student with 37% grade somehow magically has a D.
I know.
So,
Yeah,
That
I know.
happens.
I know. Yeah,
So,
we,
yeah.
we saw it.
That happens.
Oh my
Now,
God.
Right.
They don't even
No,
feel
The-
that.
with
the
the-
thing with the okay, now you can do extra credit. Wait a minute, you didn't do regular credit. What do you mean?
right, exactly. So,
Oh, yeah.
that happened anyway. Rarely, but it did happen. As far as the virus goes, I know as of March, when everything shut down, the kids were given work to do, and it was not pass fail. It wasn't
Right.
for a
Yeah, it was
grade. It
optional.
wasn't because I think even legally could not. They didn't have things set up to where
Right.
they could.
They didn't have the
and-
infrastructure.
Right. It
Not
just wasn't
everybody
there.
has internet.
Right, and still don't.
But
But
not everybody has a
So they
way to
couldn't-
get on the internet. Even
Right.
if they had it.
they could. I think the most fair thing in that case was to. I mean, it was March. It was. They had what 6 weeks left, maybe one grading period. I think the fairest thing at that point would be to give them what their grade, their average
Right.
was before the end of school.
Now, probably a lot of people weren't happy with that because they're waiting on April
Well,
and
that's
May to
just
bring
it.
that up. But,
Yeah, exactly. You do have a handful of kids who are like, well, I'm gonna use this last 6 weeks to pull up my grade, and sometimes it worked and sometimes it didn't. But I think the only fair way would be to average what they had when they left. Did that happen? Did a lot of them pass because?
Oh, they did.
I'm
Okay.
sure. Yeah, I'm sure that happened.
Under the
Supposedly,
circumstances, I think there would have been no other way to do it.
yeah.
And remember, I don't work with them. I don't have to
No.
be careful. Okay.
No.
So, I think, wait a minute, should I say
Talk
this?
about it.
Okay, so
Talk about it.
remember, every school wants their numbers to look good.
Right.
So, I mean, if you are
They have to
a D
in order
and
to
F,
survive.
right, if you're a DF and you have this group of kids who are in that group, you're going to want to give them that D so that your school score.
Your school performance score stays or goes, maybe not goes up, but at least
Right,
doesn't
at least-
drag you down.
right.
So
Because a lot of things, I don't know if it's still the same way, but a lot of things comes with you just having a complete drop. If the bottom fell out and you just had just, and it's not all, it's from a high school standpoint, it's not always your fault because you deal with what comes to you.
yes,
So you don't, it's not like you say, okay, class of 2005 was an excellent class. They were all very smart, 2006, 2007,
what happened?
what happened?
Yeah,
Right.
Well, it's not our fault. We get what
What we
comes
get.
to us.
right.
So, but what used to happen is if those scores did drop, you got a lot of class visits, you got a lot of evaluations, you got a lot of paperwork, you got a lot of stuff.
It affects everything. It affects the funding you get. It affects the way the school is run. It affects hiring. It
Right.
affects how many kids you can take in, special ed kids, kids from another parish, the TASP kids, the ones who were sent out to Crystal Street for fighting or whatever. Can they bring them back? That kind of thing. So it affects everything for the school. So I understand why those grades, those numbers, those passing rates get fudged sometimes. I get it. It is frustrating as a teacher, but also as a parent, there were times when I'd be like, this teacher really, or this principal, or this counselor, whatever, really needs to get off her back. My daughter, can't she understand that she's having a hard time in this or whatever? So I see it
Both ways.
Both ways, yeah. But I think for the COVID thing, I think no one should have failed this
Because it's
past
true.
year.
It really is no fault of your own that this happened.
Now,
Yeah.
if you had a 2% in March, it kind of is your fault. Maybe you should have
A
failed.
2 to 100.
Yeah,
that's kind
exactly,
of a stretch. Yeah.
exactly. You weren't gonna make that up in the last 6
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah. So,
But yeah, someone who has a C and was hoping for a B, you know.
Yeah, I can understand that.
Yeah,
Alright.
that's possible.
All right.
Tutor.
Side note: what if they went to jail and got out and was still able to graduate?
What you mean,
'Cause
a
I know
kid?
somebody. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like
I
jail
know
jail?
somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know somebody that
Oh.
actually went to jail
Okay.
and got out and was still able to graduate.
Look,
Well, they must
hey,
not have been there long.
well, not like that.
No.
That's great.
Right.
If they went to jail and said, "Oh my God, I never
Right.
want to go back,"
Right,
and
'cause
I
they
need
have-
I need a high school diploma. I need to do something with myself.
Right.
That's awesome.
They do
And the
have
only-
school there, right? Am I right? It was
I
in
don't-
juvenile
I
jail,
ain't never
right?
been in jail.
No,
It-
this
it was
is jail.
big boy jail.
Real jail.
Yeah.
Paris.
Oh,
Yeah. This
oh,
is
well, I wouldn't know.
So
Yeah.
what you're saying is there was no way they could have passed because they were in jail, or were you
they
saying
would have missed that
They'd
time.
have missed- yeah.
They would have missed. You know.
Now-
I don't know when they. I know they.
They'd have been in jail
during the,
throughout that-
quarantine.
like
That
Oh.
period of time.
Yeah.
that just
Yeah.
happened?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a little different.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh.
So let me just say,
There may have been some arrangements made.
yeah, it used to be about the time spent, because you can't be truant.
Yes.
It used to be the amount of
Instructional
credits
minutes and credits.
to be able to graduate,
Scores.
the scores, your GPA. It used to be all that. But I guess when things got, it stopped at
Stop
March.
the clock
Right.
in March.
Maybe that's what happened.
Well, shout out to him.
Yeah. Good for him.
Right.
Shout out.
Don't go
High
back.
school
That
graduation.
it's
Don't go
bad
back.
in there. Don't
He
go
ain't
back.
going back.
Right.
Don't go
No.
back.
That's good.
Is it someone we know? Can you tell me later?
They like just graduated.
Yeah.
So y'all
Young.
I wanted to ask,
y'all
but I
been
was
gone too long.
All right.
Oh
got you.
Lord.
Another audience
This the
question.
real question. Huh? Yeah.
That's
All I had to say.
Uh-oh.
You take this one.
All right. We got another question from the audience, y'all.
Shout out to the audience.
Shout out to the live audience. We got to get some clap. What a clapping effect.
That's right. Woo!
All right, look. How do you feel about the president demanding of the school system to reopen? Do you feel that it's best to reopen or not?
I have one answer for that. If you're gonna force people to reopen, you can't have an unfunded mandate. To me, I think it's unfair because not all schools have good ventilation. Not all schools have kids who are able to get masks. Not all schools have everything you need. Heck, I remember once upon a time, and this was not too long ago, bathrooms didn't have toilet paper
Or soap.
or hot water.
Or hot water.
I remember the hot water. We ain't have hot water.
So
Y'all hardly had soap either.
Right.
right. So this is the thing. To me, if you're gonna mandate it, put some money with it.
Hey, he got it too. Might as well.
Oh,
Yeah.
not in his own pocket. You know that's not what happened. I think, going back to what you were saying earlier, I don't think you can, as a whole, say the entire United States, it is open, go back to school.
Right.
Because you've got areas that are so
Right.
hard hit. They're in Arizona and New Mexico, these Native American communities.
Oh, that's horrible.
Are so well they're so underfunded as it is. They're such poor communities, and they are so hard hit with this virus that to say go back to school, that's like almost a death sentence at that point. So you have all these areas that are really hard hit. You can't just say, yep, everybody go.
Right.
Flip that switch. We're back to
goes
normal.
back to what we were talking about at the very beginning of the conversation. It has to be very, very much connected to. Is that Kool-Aid, please? It has to be very much connected to what's going on in your particular. Yeah. Hey, don't leave me out. There you go.
Look, Joe's hogging all the Kool-Aid.
I know.
He's got 3 inches of
Oh,
Kool-Aid.
that's all right. That's all right. I'm good. I'm good.
How you leave out?
Rebecca.
Look,
So,
it's the class. It's just the class. It's not.
man,
Oh,
Joe.
It's Joe.
Really?
But anyway, go ahead.
So,
I,
I think that, like you were saying, a lot of times we get compared to other countries.
right.
Yeah.
And my thing is, if we know anything about geography, America's a big country.
Right. Right.
When you say France only has this or Germany only, France may be the size of Connecticut.
Right. Right.
You gotta look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Texas, our one state. Texas
Right.
is bigger than several European countries
Right.
combined.
So
Right.
you can't we can't go by what other countries are doing.
Right.
And state by state, I understand. It is frustrating when everybody doesn't do the same thing at the same time. That's not us. That's not America.
Right.
We're not that country. And when you think about how different Arizona and New Mexico are from South Carolina or Georgia or Texas
Right.
or Louisiana, you know, it's very different.
Well, you're comparing apples to oranges.
Right.
You can't
Right.
you can't do that. You can't make this one for all and all for one
Right.
statement because
It's not.
it just doesn't. One size doesn't fit all. It doesn't
Right.
work that way.
And I think it's hard in the media because
Oh,
everybody wants
yeah.
to be able to say,
yes
this
or no.
is it. This is what we
This
need
side
to
or
do.
this side.
Right.
Right. Exactly. Pick a side, and there's no that you can't be in the middle. You can't see the points of either side or both sides
Right.
and form your own opinion because you've got in your head on social media and network media all the
yes.
time and constantly going.
That's what they were talking about. The media.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just make everything worse.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's one of the, I think, the biggest enemies of our society
And I
now
think
is
that's
the media.
that needs to be a class, media competency.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It is. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
All right. Speaking of classes that should be involved in school,
Art.
why, why don't they teach about credit and
Life skills.
yeah,
skills? They
things
should.
like that?
Is
I
it,
feel
they,
like
they
that's
don't teach that in home ec anymore?
No.
That
no,
used to be.
No. I think they, what do they call it now? Family and consumer sciences, I believe. They go over budgeting, I think, but it's very much old school. You have a family of 4 and you need to buy asparagus. So how much money, that kind of thing. It's very,
Okay.
very out there. It's not
Not when you
really
go buy
appli-
a car and they give you this rate versus
Exactly.
that rate.
Right.
Which one's
Exactly.
better, right?
And
Real
why
world.
credit
right.
cards
What
are bad.
this interest rate is like?
Right.
Yeah.
What does interest mean?
What about taxes? What
Right.
and, all of that.
Should you sign this student loan?
Exactly.
Right.
Reading fine print and
Right.
change.
Hey man, because all I saw was numbers.
Yeah.
When
Right.
they say you
You
can
go
get this
thousands?
much, y'all they'll send y'all this. All right, bet.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Well, the
Still,
credit
all them
card.
people,
The
y'all
Yeah.
never
the
get
ones.
y'all money either.
That's right. Don't get credit cards.
Right.
And
Do
don't
not.
get student loans.
Do not.
Avoid
do
them
not.
all.
They will send them to you.
Yeah,
because
that's
they know
honestly-
that you are free from your home,
Yeah.
and they know
Yeah.
that you're in college.
Well, yeah. Y'all are easy prey. As
Y'all wrong for not telling us that.
Oh wait,
in
we had other stuff we had to
Yeah.
do. Sorry,
That
you
was
had to learn
job.
about Shakespeare.
Right.
Yeah, that was a job back then.
Sorry,
They
you're
ain't
right.
cutting nothing about
That
us.
was a job. It's like, I'm trying to get y'all up out of here.
Listen, we were trying to save our own credit. Do
There
our
you go.
own,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Well,
Poor
not
teachers,
just that.
right.
We're you're told what to teach, and now sometimes how to teach it. And,
Well, I think
I think that is
during the time that we taught, I think it was a lot more freedom.
we had a lot more freedom with the principles that we had.
We've had some great principals.
And yeah, the principles that we had for the majority of the time we were there were absolutely phenomenal.
Hands off.
Yeah, and let us do what we needed to do. But yeah, that
it's not everybody's
no.
situation.
Shout out Miss Cindy Williams. Shout out Miss Cindy.
That's
Williams.
right. Cindy Williams was an
Shout out
awesome
Miss
principal. Mr. Jinko,
Yeah.
Ron
I ain't
Jinko
have
was
all them.
he was fabulous. But yeah, those kind of classes, those kind of skills are definitely necessary.
Yeah.
What you laughing about, Devon?
Nothing.
Probably something he
off-
did or
yeah,
said.
That's off camera.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah.
We'll leave it right there.
Yeah.
I think that's about it. Let y'all.
Audience
We've enjoyed
members,
it.
was there another one? Any other questions from the audience?
Come on, audience.
Did we answer all of their questions?
Y'all basically have
Well, it's been a pleasure for me.
Yeah,
What
it's
about
been
you?
awesome. I have enjoyed this experience completely, and I am
Wish we
so
had more
impressed. I'm impressed with y'all.
apologize.
For
I owe
what?
you some Kool-Aid.
Oh,
Shout out to the
Kool-Aid.
podcast.
that's right.
free game podcast.
Free game
That's right.
podcast.
Free game.
This is dope.
Shout out to what you taught, Fine Arts.
Fine Art Survey.
Fine Art
Studio
Survey.
1,
Shout out-
Studio 2.
Shout out English 1 and English 4. I ain't had nothing else with you. I can't
And
shout.
2 and 3.
I can't shout the rest. Shout out the senior project.
There you go.
Shout out
It made
the
a
whole
difference.
class of 2011. I hope y'all
Shout
tuned in.
out.
I hope
Independence.
so.
Independent.
Yeah, shout out to y'all.
Independence.
In a pinna. That's right.
Right.
In a pinna.
Other than that, any closing statements? Any last words?
No, we're just very proud of you guys.
Yep, absolutely. We're really glad to
Y'all
see y'all.
wanna shout out y'all social medias?
Oh no.
We have
No.
to ask everybody else that.
No,
No, let's not do that.
not this time. Yeah.
Let them give us our roses real quick. Hold up, I'm gonna sit back for this one. So you were saying?
I said I'm very proud of you all. I'm just very impressed.
Mm-hmm.
Very impressed. Great parents, you
Oh, this
know.
is my idea.
You guys.
And this is all Joe's idea.
Don't
That's
believe
right.
Oh, it's all you?
Don't believe that. Y'all wouldn't even be here if I said, Joe, I think we should get in.
I'm talking about the podcast. Now,
Wasn't all his idea.
This episode, yeah, he did this. He did this.
Good
all
job.
Well, I
by
think-
Good job. Good job. Good job.
I think with the support system you
Right.
guys have, I think
Yeah.
this is something
Shout out
that,
to the support system.
that's right. I think this is something that y'all can take
AKA
places.
the audience, the
Absolutely
live
take
audience.
it.
Way to go, audience.
That's right. Well, thank y'all so much. I enjoyed
Thank
it.
y'all.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
like for real. Really appreciate it.
All right.
With all that being said, man, this was the Free Game Podcast special edition.
Special edition. We don't know what we're gonna call it, but it's gonna have special in there somewhere.
I like special.
Okay.
All right, man, we gonna holler at y'all next time.
Peace.